Process costing feels confusing. Let me show you the exact format that makes everything simple.
Raw manufacturing data comes in as a messy flood of partial physical counts, varied material costs, and shifting labor rates. Tracking a single product's true cost through this maze often leaves accountants and students completely lost. To sort this out, we rely on the production cost report. It acts as a highly structured, mechanical engine, pulling in raw chaos and processing it with predictable, step-by-step logic. This diagram shows how that logic is built using 4 distinct sequential blocks. We move exactly from units to equivalents to departmental costs and finally to accounting for the dollars. Pushing data through this rigid sequence guarantees that every single unit and every rupee reaches a verified destination, without a single cent getting lost in the math. Looking at this first block, the quantity schedule, we track only the physical flow of units. We ignore money entirely for now. Notice the funnel at the top. This funnel collects our inputs, opening work in process from yesterday and newly introduced units today. Once inside, they have only 3 legal exit points. They finish as completed units, remain as closing work in process, or exit as normal loss. Physical objects in a factory do not simply disappear. Every item that enters the process must mathematically reconcile with one of those 3 outcomes. Mapping this physical destination is our mandatory first step. We cannot distribute financial weight accurately until we know exactly where the physical objects ended up. This side-by-side comparison illustrates our second step, equivalent units. A finished product has received 100% of its materials and labor, while a unit still in process might only be halfway there. To make the accounting work, we convert incomplete work into whole units by multiplying closing work in process by its completion percentage. There is one strict exception, normal loss. We ignore naturally lost units, assigning them 0 equivalent units. Normalizing these partial items prevents a critical error. It ensures the system doesn't accidentally assign full price costs to products that only received half the work. Shifting from physical items to financial weight, we reach block 3. Expenses fall into 4 buckets: transferred in, material, labor, and factory overhead. To find the exact cost per unit, we divide the dollar amount in each category by our equivalent units. Notice that each category gets its own isolated equation. We must calculate these costs in separate silos, rather than blending them into one massive average. Each cost behaves differently. Segregating them isolates inefficiencies, showing management exactly which resource, like a spike in raw materials or slower direct labor, is driving up the expense. Step 4 is cost accounted for. Here, we distribute the calculated financial weight back onto the physical items we tracked in Step 1. This flowchart details that distribution. We assign precise costs by multiplying our calculated cost per unit against the completed items and against the equivalent units still sitting in closing work in process. This brings us to the golden rule. The total cost assigned at the end of Step 4 must equal the total costs we started with. If the totals don't match, a mathematical mistake exists. Achieving a perfect balance here serves as mathematical proof that the entire framework is functioning properly. This spreadsheet template translates our abstract blocks into a practical layout. It provides a structured workspace for particulars, units, transferred in, material, labor, and factory overhead. The 4 conceptual steps we just covered map directly to sections A, B, C, and D of this exact document, enforcing a sequential order of operations every time you work. Looking at this bottom row, the glowing highlight confirms our validation check. The total assigned cost perfectly matches the total cost available. Building your data into this rigid Excel structure guarantees mechanical precision. With the foundation mapped out, you are ready to run complex, real-world manufacturing data right through the engine.